And welcome back to the Veterans Radio Show. My name is Shelly Harrison, and I'm your host. And happy Friday, everybody. We just had Memorial Day last weekend, and next weekend we have Father's Day. So, two wonderful occasions to be with family and just have a wonderful time and make memories. So, here at the Veterans Radio Show, we talk with heroes in action. And we have a variety of different people that we interview with, and we are so excited. Today is a little bit different. We have a special segment. We are going to be talking with two gentlemen that you already know. So we have Gary Roman that's going to be with us today, and he has his special segment. He'll be sharing with us about Memorial Day, and we'll ask him some questions. And then after that, we are going to bring on our executive director, Joe Molina. So I'm excited for that because he's going to kind of turn it around on me and ask me a few questions because I have some exciting news to share about just a few things that you'll learn about in just a few minutes here. So we want to welcome all of our audience. Please subscribe. Make sure that you subscribe. You click the bell so that you get notifications for all of our shows. They're always live. But if you're rewatching the show, you can always take your time, go work out at the gym, just have a great time and listen because we have some great guests on this show. So I want to welcome Gary Roman onto the Veterans Radio Show. And Gary, how are you?
Hi, Shelly. I'm doing great. Good to be on the show again.
Oh, yes, we always love having you on the show, Gary, because you put such a wonderful spotlight on all of our heroes and people that you work with and, in transition, bringing them back into civilian life. So maybe, if we get started, I know we're going to talk about Memorial Day, but I would love for you to just kind of give give the audience kind of a sense of what you do, real briefly, and then we'll get right into Memorial Day. Even though it's past, we're still going to talk about it.
Okay. Well, I refer to myself as a veterans coach. So for the last 10 years, I work in the veteran community, helping veterans that are transitioning out prepare for their next mission, which is their career in civilian life. And so transition is not easy. Can be a very confusing process, but I help them develop a plan. I help them make sure they got all the critical components they need to successfully identify a job and apply for a job and hopefully know how to interview for a job. So it's something I have a deep passion about, and I've been doing it for the last 10 years.
10 years. Wow. And just think of all of the veterans that you've helped and people in the military that probably needed some guidance and direction. And I really applaud you for the work that you do, Gary, because you do this with such passion. And, when you bring on guests, I mean, I'm just my heart just goes out to some of these, these military, our veterans and just people that have served our country and really deserve that kind of guidance and support from you. So great job. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. And why don't we get into Memorial Day? Because I know you wanted to share a little bit about, Memorial Day. I know my husband and I went to San Diego last weekend for the Memorial Day weekend, and we were down by Midway, and there were so many wonderful celebrations, for Memorial Day, but it goes beyond that. And let's talk about that.
Well, first of all, I think we have a treasure in our backyard. I don't know if people really realize the significance of Midway. It turned the war, actually. And in the Battle of the Midway, it had a very significant impact on the outcome of World War II. Yeah. But what I want to talk about today is the significance of Memorial Day. Now, yes, it's gone by and until next year, but it has become more than a remembrance. I'm all for families. I'm all for get-togethers and celebrating it in a family tradition. Yeah. But I think the thing that concerns me a little bit is we don't really remember effectively those who paid the ultimate price.
That's right.
Let me give you just a few stats. Since 1775, that was our first major war in America. Over 651,000 veterans have perished due to battle. That's an amazing number. And
that's astronomical.
Of that number, over 520,000 died during World War II, during the Korean War, and Vietnam.
Yeah.
So, those were, you know, we experienced a heavy loss during those conflicts.
Right.
And the other thing about Memorial Day is remembering those who died on duty. They didn't die as a result of combat, but over 500,000 have died on duty. And we need to reflect on them, remember them too, and
That's
take
right.
special effort to do so. And the other thing, again, I'm just trying to bring in focus why I think Memorial Day it needs to be looked at it from a different standpoint.
From a different lens. Yeah.
We have over 80,000 veterans that are still missing in action. 45,000 of those are missing at sea. And so it's when I did the research on this, I was just taken back. And
No doubt. Yeah.
and really, I think I mean, was raised in a military family. I've served. My dad was in the Air Force 23 years, and it's in my DNA.
Yeah.
And I'm at Camp Pendleton every week around veterans, and it's just I tell you what, we have a treasure that we should recognize more often, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to spend a few minutes kind of sharing those statistics to bring into focus why we should remember. We just had D Day yesterday.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
again, another stat over 2,500 Americans lost their life on D Day. And altogether, over 4,000 Allied troops lost their life on D Day. Over 6,000 total veterans lost their job on D-Day. And I was listening to the ceremonies and, oh man, seeing some of those old timers travel all the way
Mm-hmm.
Normandy that was their last trip.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we did have one veteran who was 102 years old
Oh my goodness.
away on the flight. And of course, that's sad to mention here, but
It
it
is.
this goes to show how these men and women,
Mm-hmm.
they wanted to be there one last time. Did everything good to be there, and we made it possible for them. So it was very, very rewarding to see and very fulfilling to experience that moment, even though it was on TV.
Yeah. Gosh. Well, and the stats that you shared with us, Gary, I mean, our hearts, when you think of the thousands of men and women that paid the ultimate price, when you think of Memorial Day, a lot of us think of barbecues and like you said, spending time with family. And really the real essence of Memorial Day is, remembrance and really holding on to the memories and the families that were impacted, from losing their loved ones.
Yeah,
And our veterans, I mean, ultimately, our veterans, I mean, they're so important and crucial to just, our economy and our civilization. So, we want to make sure that, we absolutely recognize them. And again, those stats, thank you for sharing. And it's somber, we don't want to, kind of dwell on that, but we also want to
yeah.
recognize and remember.
Well, and that
So,
also underscores the meaning of Veterans Chamber, for example, and all the things you do for veterans when they're young
yeah,
or younger. And,
younger.
and that also puts a kind of a bounce in my step at my age to serve,
Oh, at
serve.
your young age.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I know that, it's contributing to a much bigger cause, and I can play a small little part in helping veterans transition
Oh,
successfully.
yeah. Well, in my opinion, if you've been doing this for 10 years, you had family that served, you served, you've been doing a big part, a big giant part. So, we want to recognize you too, Gary, and thank you so much for your service. Thank you for, your family and what your, family has contributed to our freedom. And, as far as Memorial Day, we look forward to celebrating every year, but again, remembrance is really the key for making sure that we just really embrace those that lost their lives, and men and women.
Right.
And yeah, we love your segment. You have all different types of things. So thank you for participating today and coming on the show,
Thank you.
Gary, and have a wonderful weekend.
You too. And
Yes.
again, I thank you for the opportunity. Next time I'll have a guest.
Oh, good. Well, we're happy with you too. So you always bring such wisdom, and we
Well,
appreciate
it's
that.
a privilege to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Gary. Have a great weekend. And next, we are going to have our executive director, Joe Molina. So I'm going to invite Joe Molina on the show right now. Hello, Joe. How are you?
Hey, Shelley, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm excited because I'm kind of in the hot seat, but you're also my co-host. So, we're going to have a fun conversation here. And for those of you that are tuning in and part of the show today, we want you to definitely tell all of your veteran friends and families and people that that would be able to subscribe and watch the show. We want participation and involvement. But with Joe, as far as you started the chamber, just a little bit of background. How long ago has the Veterans Chamber? When did it evolve, or when did it start?
We started with very little steps, somewhere around 2015, 2016, just taking little steps. I always been involved with, um, with especially in my area in San Diego with Camp Pendleton,
Yeah.
MCRD, and the Air Force. So there was always activity that took place. Um, and always experiencing the different challenges, but also the accomplishments and the skills that as veterans continue to provide. And so I started teaching at the university, which was housed at Camp Pendleton
Mhm.
since I believe it was 98 or 99, something like that. It was
Wow.
like a long time ago. That was
Yeah, I didn't
before.
realize it was that. Yeah, I didn't realize it
Yes,
went that
but
far
it,
back.
and,
Yeah.
and at that point, there was very few of us who were actually instructors, also physical classes and online classes. That was barely getting started and picking up.
Yeah.
And one of the things that so we always had the interaction with veterans or active duty first, and active duty, and hearing their challenges, and then when they would transition, they would go to school, and when they would go to school, then I will basically kind of meet with them because I said as their instructor, but they were going to the university or the community college,
Mhm.
either one. I was meeting with them and listening to what they were facing, listening to what their challenges were,
Yeah.
and it's like which that also triggered and brought me back memories of my challenges as I transitioned out of the military. And
Yeah.
this, so it's like there has to be a way to kind of create a bridge that brings the active duty military to the civilian world. There's got to be a bridge because once you cross the gates of the base on your last day,
Mhm.
I mean, that's it. That's really, you're now a kind of veteran. You're now a retired, not retired, whatever, but you're really no longer part of the active duty Department of Defense military stuff. You're
Yeah.
now
It's
part of a
different.
different.
Yeah,
You're
it's a
part now of the,
transition.
yes.
Yeah.
You're now part of the VA. Different, and organizations were very few that were supporting anything like this. So
Mm.
seeing the challenges that were came about, thinking about what can we do to simplify, create the bridge,
Yeah.
but also empower. Because you and I talked before, the mindset of the National Veterans Chamber is
Mm.
that we empower veterans to impact their communities. We're
Yeah.
not weak. We're not broken. We're not anything like that that is being portrayed for whatever reason. We believe on strength. I believe if someone is a veteran, they are 110% committed to whatever they do.
Mhm.
100%,
Absolutely.
100%. And
Absolutely.
and and also, but I also am aware of what Gary was talking about. I'm also aware there is some of us who need assistance in certain ways,
Right.
right? And that is also needs to be um, 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 kind of served in that way. If they
Right.
need help, you need help, then we're here to help. So we focus. So when we started just as a business connections, entrepreneurship,
Mhm.
chamber of commerce. And from the beginning, I wanted to make sure that the chamber was free to all veterans and their families. I didn't want any charge. But we're
I,
the only chamber that charges nothing for
that's
their membership.
fantastic. Yeah.
And I like that.
Hmm.
It creates its challenges because then we had to find sources to pay for all the activities because it costs the same to run a chamber, a little chamber that it costs to run a big chamber. But one thing that we did not want to have was overhead. So
Yeah.
from the beginning, the board and I talk about buying buildings. Is like no buildings. I'm not buying buildings. I'm not renting buildings. That's thrown away money from our members. I don't want to do that. What I
Yeah.
want to do is for us to go to where the members are. So that's our approach. We go to where the members are. And that brings me to you because you are also part of the chamber as the
I
director of
am.
Orange County and Riverside, and
Yeah.
you go to where the member for the where the veterans are. And I like that. I like that approach. And that also makes it for the chamber to be fluid, for the chamber to reach out faster and better. We don't have to wait for people to drive 2 hours to get to our office or
Yeah.
drive 8 hours from San Francisco to come to our office. No, we have someone in North County, I mean, North California. We have people in New York. We have people in Puerto Rico. We have people in North Carolina. I mean, it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
places where we have people like that are committed to and love working with the military. So
Yeah.
you, as the director for Orange County and Riverside area, and really my right hand person. So I think between you and I,
So,
we really run California and all the projects that we do. So
yeah.
I'm really wanted to thank you for that because
Thank
you have been a tremendous pillar. Your commitment and support, it really makes us richer and makes us be able to impact more and more lives for veterans in some of the different aspects
you.
of it.
Oh,
So,
thank you.
so
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the chamber and the growth that it's experienced, it's the people and you and your ability to lead. When I first came on, and this is probably about 6 years ago,
yeah.
we met through LinkedIn. And with my company, where I was looking for opportunities for our clients to speak, I realized that, you didn't have the brick and mortar or have the events where you were really entrenched in business and in the communities in a different way. So that opened up the opportunity for you and I to brainstorm. And I looked forward to all the meetings that we had because I remember you taking out paper. And I mean, there would be illustrations, and I could easily follow along and understand kind of your mindset and the direction that you wanted the National Veterans Chamber to go and to serve. And that's it fills my heart to know that we're helping veterans, that we're creating programs, and we're really getting involved in communities where people will come to us,
Mhm.
as a chamber. And I talk to people all over the world, in regards to the National Veterans Chamber of Commerce. And I find that people are very willing to help our veterans. And, and you served, and thank you for your
Mhm.
service, Joe, because you're very passionate about veterans. And that's one thing that I really admire about you, because you want the absolute best for them. And you don't want homelessness. You don't want them to suffer. You don't want them, to be alone with PTSD or other types of things that come with being in the military after, not in all cases, but
Mhm.
those that need the support, you're there to
Right.
help them. And you've helped me every step of the way. And, hosting this show, this is something that, I was very nervous about doing in the very beginning. And you just showed me the way and made me feel comfortable. And here we are today.
That's right. Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it's been an impressive ride, and it's always the challenges become. This is the way I see it. The challenges and obstacles become the successes,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's like every obstacle that we encounter, we've encountered many, but then there's a little jump, and that becomes a success, and that's how we started, and that's how we keep going.
Yeah.
Like from the I know we're now working on the contract with the state of California. We're also supporting the new chambers that start in some other places, like the one in Puerto Rico who just got
Mm,
started, and
that's
then and we are helping these veterans who have the 110% commitment, and then we'll back them up. We'll support
yeah.
them. Get your own chamber going. You don't have to run my chamber. We don't need that. But if we want you to impact your community, we're not. I don't believe on the give me handout. Like I don't believe that. As veterans, we don't see it that way. So
Right.
and so those who are eager to get something going in their region, then
Mm-hmm.
then we help them, and that's easy breezy. But also on the what you mentioned about the homelessness, and it's a big, huge issue.
Mm-hmm.
Totally, I don't really get it exactly what's going on, but what I do understand is control, self-control, and self-sufficiency, and self-accountability, all those things. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel that it's very easy to get into that situation. I think it's easy. I mean, a few payments behind, and you it's really hard to get caught up with the stuff. So we want to help them before they come to that situation.
Before it gets to
We
that
want
point.
to,
Preventative.
yeah,
Preventative.
very preventative. So
Yeah.
that's why we created the Housing for Heroes program, and we have now a list of brokers and real estate agents and mortgage lenders, and
Mm,
people who, because we are not lenders, we're not mortgage, that's that's not what we do. But what we do
yeah.
is bring all this resource licensed people who actually meet with the veterans or the families. It's all about family affair, and then create their family foundation, because a home is a foundation. If someone is struggling with their home, it's really hard to have a happy family. I don't think
It
you can. I
is.
don't think you can. I don't think I don't think you. I mean, I don't think
Well,
you
other
can.
problems arise.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Financial,
Oh my
and
God.
I mean, if they have kids, that even, is makes it more
Yeah.
complex.
So our focus is family. I mean, there's people who do investments and stuff like that, and we also work on that because we do the multi-units investment stuff. But my main focus, I start with the family, because if you're strong with your family, then you will have money to invest in other things. Then you
Right.
can do it and expand. So all those things are key for us. And one
Yeah.
of the things that we help also, as you know, is people getting in business, studying in business. So
Mm-hmm.
we have a strong relationship with the SBA. We have VBOC and all other groups like that we collaborate with, and we help them go through. This agency helps them go through their certification process, and
Yeah.
the chamber assigns them designations, whether it's veteran-owned business, female veteran-owned business, micro business,
Mm-hmm.
sole proprietor designations, and then we help them get into procurement at the local level. We do it for them.
Oh
We
yeah.
don't just say we don't give you a point finger. No, we do it for them, so that way they get listed as vendors.
Right.
And
Yeah.
on that note, you also have something to share with us, because you just received a certification, correct, from the SBA?
Yes, for my company. And really, I'm glad that you kind of prefaced that, because it really stemmed from the Veterans Chamber of Commerce. Because initially, when I was working with procurement,
Hmm.
I was working with a specialist. I want to give her a shout out, Susie Myers. She works in the Riverside area, and she strategically helped me. And our company, my company, Luminary Leaders, we are now, as of yesterday, a certified women-owned small business. And I love the fireworks. I love that. And it's I thank you, Joe, and I really appreciate that because it opened my eyes, and it came from the Veterans Chamber of Commerce for me to really build a strategic partnership with the procurement specialist that I was working with. And as a woman, I have my hands in a lot of different projects and things, and my background is in the corporate sector.
Mm-hmm.
And then having my own business and being able to, to say that we're part of the US Small Business Administration certification, group of women-owned small businesses. I used to help women when I was in my banking career to do that. And now here we are, and it
Now
feels
you are it.
yeah, because I mean, we work with men and women, so it's something that gives us exposure and resources to other things to help our clients, to help, our company with our growth and, just working with, the overall business. So
Well,
thank you for your participation in that. I really appreciate it. And
well,
Joe.
well, thank you, and I'm very happy to hear that because I know it's a huge challenge to accomplish. It's a
Yeah,
struggle.
9 months. It took
9 months, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
All those things are worth it. They take a long time.
They
And
do, they
yeah,
do, and the good thing is with, any certification, whether it's Cal eProcure or, small business, different types of certification or women-owned small business, micro business, whatever those certifications are, you can actually put those on your website, on your
absolutely.
business website and show that you've accomplished that. So we already have that one up on our website already. So
Excellent,
we added
excellent.
that this morning because
Mhm.
we had the official notice. So
Yes, and that's something that as a veterans chamber, we give those logos and seals so people can
yes.
can can, can post them. And also, as you know, we are leading now the Veterans and Diversity Council, which
Yes.
covers the state of California at this time. And so we have several chambers participating, business associations that want to be kind of collaborating with the chamber so their members get to those designations. And a lot of designations that we offer are is whatever the SBA stops,
Mhm.
that's what we pick up. Because a lot of
Yeah,
designations
exactly.
and,
And
and
yeah, and the resources are just phenomenal. We have some very, I mean, wonderful resources within the Veterans Chamber where you have built the collaborative partnerships with with so many different people, whether it's an attorney with Kelly, we have Mark Mays, who is also on the
mhm.
business side, and with Gary, with his expertise. I mean, it's just, and there's more people that are part of, and
Oh
then we
yes,
have Dolly Rivera, who is our
right.
co-host here on the radio show. So it's a wonderful family, you
You know,
know.
it's interesting you say that because I usually meet with people and they see me, right? And they're like, so, where you staff and stuff like that. And it's like, well, let's talk about first, let's,
Yeah.
I want people's heart before I want anything else because they don't have it. They don't have that passion. There's no point. I
Yeah.
see no
Yeah.
point.
Exactly.
So, if they're not okay just being with me, then they're not okay. They're not okay being with the team. So it's like, okay, because we have, as a chamber, National Veteran Chamber of Commerce, the teams that we have that, you've seen in the meetings where we have, 15, 20 people and they just keeps building, but everyone has its own commitment and its
Right.
own role.
That's
And,
right.
and, and
Yeah.
that builds that team, that builds the resources. And then it's just extremely powerful that way.
Right. Well, and that's why we want businesses, that are not necessarily veteran, owned,
Hmm.
where we want them to be kind of where they could be a resource
Oh,
to
absolutely.
the businesses that are part of the, just like they would join another chamber of commerce that's non-veteran
Mhm.
related, they could certainly join our chamber,
Oh,
and of
absolutely.
course, there's membership fees. However, the idea is that, it's a veterans chamber. So that's why,
Right.
it's wonderful that we can offer our veterans, complimentary membership.
Well,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, but we definitely want to let all of those businesses out there know that if you're a regular business and you're looking to partner with, the Veterans Chamber of Commerce, check out our website. And do you want to give the website address, Joe?
Well, yes, and the thing is that we don't charge the businesses, veterans and non-veterans. We don't charge, but non-veteran businesses get to play a role
Mm-hmm.
as a veteran-friendly business, and they get a designation. The
Yes.
designation does have a very small fee,
Mm-hmm.
but they become part of the chamber and support them. And the fee goes to paying for all the labels and banners, because we want them to let the community know that they support veterans.
Yeah.
So it's key for us, that they actually do that. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
see,
So I think we are
that's our website right there.
Yeah. So there's the website. So you might want to take a screenshot if you'd like to get involved and check out all the different programs that we have. And you just met Joe Molina, who is our executive director of the National Veterans Chamber of Commerce. And he's also, part of our show here today. And we appreciate that, Joe. I know we've come to the end of our broadcast here. We want to give another thank you to Gary Roman, who was here earlier and talked about Memorial Day. And we want to thank our audience for being a part of the show and for subscribing and following us. And, we certainly want your questions. If you have live questions that you'd like to ask us, feel free to always, reach out to us. And Joe had showed the website there. But we want everybody to have a wonderful weekend, and we will catch you next time. Thank you.